The White Sox have been all over the place as of late. They just fired Kenny Williams and Rick Hahn. What do you think about that situation?
I look at this, the Chicago White Sox, since I kind of came out of retirement and got onto the analyzing side of the game, the media side of the game. So now I pay attention. Probably the biggest disappointment team I've seen in the last 3 years. I can't say, and I wrote some stuff down. It's like you start off a couple years ago, and you've got a Giolito, you've got a Cease, you've got a Keuchel, you got a Lynn, and you got a Rodon in the rotation, and you win 94 games, I believe. You get disappointed in the postseason, that happens. Houston, I believe, knocked him off that
Right.
year. Okay, that was a learning process. You got young kids like Robert, who's a stud, by the way.
He is.
Timmy Anderson, he's had a really bad year this year, but he's been a really good player. He's been a batting title type player. I looked at that offense, I looked at that pitching staff, I said, this is going to be something they can run on for 5 or 6 years. Might win a couple World Series. Biggest disappointment I've seen in the 3 years. They came in, Tony La Russa. I have the utmost respect for Tony La Russa. He's a Hall of Fame manager. I played I played against Tony. We've had many battles. Utmost respect. I don't hang it on managing. Players, you need to be accountable for how you play, the wins and the losses. It's not the manager. A manager is a scapegoat when things aren't going well. I didn't like my manager. Well, tough crap. You're a big boy. You make a lot of money to not put the onus on anybody else. So I don't blame Tony for that. Maybe he's getting a little bit older. Maybe it was time for him to move on, and he has moved on. Pedro Grifol comes into the mix. I'm a Pedro guy. He's been on the podcast. I really like Pedro. He's a great baseball man. I'm not going to hang because they're playing. What are they right now? White Sox are 50-71. That's not because the manager. And I said this recently on a show I did. They asked me about managers and how important they are, because my brother Aaron's going through it in New York. And I said, guys, here's the deal. Here's the real skinny behind the scenes. Those 26 guys in the clubhouse. We don't sit around after games and go, Skip screwed us tonight. Man, if we wouldn't have him managing, we'd have won that game. Very rarely. Maybe one win or loss a year. Maybe he's hung on the but it's the players. We win games, we lose games. Managers manage games. Managers manage people. They manage egos. They give one guy a hug and kick another guy in the butt to get the same result. That's what a great manager is. When it comes crunch time and a tough decision needs to be made, the great managers have great guts. And that's what a manager is. But to hang this on a manager, now I see what they did. They fired Kenny Williams, Hahn. Maybe it's time. Maybe, and I have nothing personal against these guys, but you had a pretty good roster set up, and to go like that, maybe it was a time in a change. And Reinsdorf said, I'm starting from the bottom up. All those guys I named in that starting rotation, they're all gone now. And I don't disagree with it. Moving on, who's next this offseason? We'll see. I think you build it around Robert Jr. in center field. I think that's a superstar right there. But other than that, kind of a bunch of pieces.